Have you ever thought about using trading bots? I used Bitsgap in the last bull market and turned $1,000 into $50,000 within a 5-month period. I documented the whole process and put it in a playlist if you want to see that, along with other training videos and tutorials how to set bots up and make the most of the volatility of the crypto market. If you sign up with a link in the description, you'll get a 7 days free trial with no obligation to continue, and you can also use a demo account within Bitsgap so you don't have to risk your own capital. Bitsgap. Hello everybody, welcome back. Are we going to get the breakthrough this time? Is it going to happen? Let's have a look at the charts then, shall we? Let's start with Bitcoin. So look, once again, back up to the top of the range. We were kind of undecided on the Patreon live stream when we were looking at this on Tuesday night, basically as it had occurred. At the time we were bouncing around the 20 simple moving average. Woke up in the morning to see that we had actually come down to and closed below the 21, but by the time we're making the video yesterday, we were already sailing above it. It was looking okay. Right, so there's one way to look at this, which is in the form of this giant trend, which is pretty awesome. And the rules of support stroke resistance are that the more times you push a resistance, or the more times you tap a support, the more likely it is to break. So let's have a look at momentum to see if there's any change of momentum going on right now. So we've got the RSI struggling with its own trend, I can see here. You could make the case that it's breaking out already, but it's still quite early. So let's take it to a 4-hourly then, shall we? So what's going on the 4-hourly? Similar kind of consolidation on the RSI. Maybe we are looking for a breakout again. You could make the case that if we are breaking out and that this momentum right now is enough to actually break through and pump forward. I'm actually more than hopeful that it's going to do it this time. So let's knock it down even more to a 1-hourly. See what's going on the 1-hourly. So the 1 hour's already reached its temporary peak, back up at that resistance, we'll call it 38,000-ish area, and is consolidating from that. The momentum has not, yes it does have bearish divergence on 2 drives of that, fair enough, but we can still remain hopeful. Back to the weekly, we can also recognize that, we've already seen this before. We're quite high on the money flow index, and so if we do make this next move up into the lower 40s, between, we'll call it roughly around 42,000, then we might be looking for a actual peak. And if we do run even further than that, then we'll be looking for a bubble pop. We're not looking for anything more than a bubble pop, to be honest with you, the higher we go on this weekly. But it doesn't mean we can't get there. Bubble pops can be serious and significant. This was a 300% rally. Obviously, this was a much bigger rally than that. This was also about a 250% rally or more. So yeah, that's where the pops come from. Obviously, we call it diminishing returns, don't we? So we can think about, all right, we hit that 200 exponential here. We've run up so far to the tune of 50%. Maybe we could come up to the tune of about 85, 90%. So we're talking upper 40s before the bubble pop. Don't get scared about the word bubble pop. Just call it beginning of a longer, more drawn out consolidation. Overall, I'll still stick to what I have been saying for the majority of this year, is that Bitcoin's going to range within a 20,000 to a 40,000 range. Obviously, the lows were in below that in the teens. The peaks could be even higher than that in the upper 40s. But the majority of price action, I believe, is mostly going to take place within here. So we are really looking for a larger consolidation. And that is the truth of it. That's the truth of the matter. Right, so Ethereum. We were talking about Ethereum on yesterday's video. That was the main focus. Ethereum's potential breakout taking place on the 4-hourly, which is now, I believe, looks like it's corresponding to a daily breakout. Got our consolidation trend line as such, and it looks like a clear breakout and a closure above. Again, every aspect of the chart is bullish. Wicks and candle bodies dancing around the 20 and the 21, just like Bitcoin, a little messier. But let's face it, the fact that it managed to regain this kind of strength in the face of the Binance FUD, the CZ FUD, is pretty impressive. So I'll be looking for continuation on this one. A retest of the upper area, just like Bitcoin, around 2,150 seems very likely, and let's take it to a 4-hour to see the strength on this current move. I think it's going to break it, to be honest with you. So an extension of what we were saying yesterday, looking for a break of this, and probably a move up to around 2,400 is where we're looking for. One other component of this chart, which makes it quite interesting opposed to what we saw yesterday, we've got a pump signal on the Ichimoku cloud on 4-hourly, which says basically we're going to move up to the next major area of resistance. So that is technically 2,150. That's only a 3.5% move. It's not much. So I think, to be fair, with the scale of the momentum, we'll be looking for this to break out and then make its way up to the next major resistance level, which I think is probably around 20. Oh my god, what's wrong with me? 2,400. That is basically around these areas here. And we'll just take it from there. I think that's where Ethereum goes to. Whether it can build a base above 2,150, I cannot get the price out of my mouth. My mouth. I can't even speak. So basically, long story short, momentum's good on Bitcoin and on Ethereum. The likelihood is that it's going to break this resistance and it's going to push up. Now, I would be afraid when we get to these levels on all altcoins. You know, no altcoin is created equal, and they all are generally seen as trending as one. The Dixie actually got a rejection on that 200 exponential, which is pretty sweet there on the daily. So surprisingly weak still on Dixie. So with that, let's take our attention to S&P. S&P pump on this daily. Yeah, it's a little overheated, but there's no bearish divergence on the daily, so I still think we can go forward on this one. What else should we think about looking at? To be fair, I would more or less consider this a done deal, and we're looking for breakouts. Yeah, I mean, Euro, main component of the Dixie, still not broken completely bullish yet. Obviously, breaking out from this level would be really good. You would be looking to see some serious moves, but the consolidation on the Euro has been pretty savage, and so to turn around from this in the short term and say that that's where we're going is unlikely. I think we need another week sitting around between 107.5 and anywhere higher than that to actually break bullish. But it's looking constructive here on the daily, I have to say. So that is poor for the Dixies, good for the Euro. It should be good for everything else that's valued against dollars. So, yeah, things look bullish again. It still was, and it was a buy the dip market. Each one of these dips effectively being bought on the charts, which ask to be bought. Not all altcoins, not all everything, but obviously in the case of Ethereum and also for Bitcoin, it's a dip buyer's market. I'll tell you what we can look at just very briefly. The Bitcoin dominance, what are you doing? The daily looking like it wants to make another nudge down to the 50 exponential. Fair play, fair play. So a little bit further downside, so that's good for everybody. All altcoins should benefit, I suppose, through association with that. Whether we get support on this again or we break down, remember the rule. The more times you touch a support, the more likely it is to break. And so we've hit this 50 exponential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times now, and we're moving back down towards it once again. If you break that, the next major level of support is basically around the 50% dominant zone. Total market cap 2, again, the rule is the more times you hit a resistance, the more likely it is to break. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed to break, so don't misinterpret what I'm saying, but the more likelihood is this probably would break. And how many times have we hit this major resistance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we've been making our way up for another attempt at that. Look, a break from here is a big sail up. You know, the market cap of all altcoins would be significant. It's about a 40% rise there. So things do look quite good. Also, plenty of room to run on this when you're talking about momentum. So I like it. I like everything. I like the way everything looks. So this might be where the next portion of altcoin rally, if you want to call it that, or alt season, or pumping alts, or dead cat, whatever people want to interpret. I don't want to put a label on it. Yeah, this might be I'll call it the alt season 2.0, the second half, you know? Alt season part 2, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'll be calling it, because that's effectively what it will be. But you know, all good things do come to an end, and the bitter end for altcoins, in my opinion, would end around the total market cap hitting 917 billion. But we'll see. Remember, there is still a black swan circling these charts in the name of CZ and Binance, but I wouldn't be particularly concerned. But you know, it is real. I think at the end of the day is kind of how I assumed it would play out, which is that all the SEC want is some money. That's all they want. They just want some money. So they're gonna get their money now, and they're gonna carry on as normal. Everyone will just carry on as normal. You don't want to put an end to a cash cow like crypto when you know that you can tap them just as easily as that. You know? So I'm pretty sure everything will be fine. It's not in anyone's interest to destroy Binance when you can basically just say, all right, let's have 4 billion, please, mate. Can I have 4 billion? Yeah, cheers for that. Cheers for that. All right, see you later. That's basically what's the most likely outcome here, right? We all know that everybody's corrupt in one way or another. This is the society we live in. It's just corrupt all over the place. Binance, no, not too different to any of the major institutions that we see all, doing all kinds of crazy stuff all the time. So yeah, all right, you caught me, you got me. Here's your 4 billion. Move on. And look, if you want to try and catch me again, that's fine. I've got another 4 billion for you as well. These things happen all the bloody time, and I think that's how it's going to be. Right, with that, let's keep our fingers crossed and our eyes on the prize. Things look like they're going to break. Ethereum, Bitcoin, and altcoins through association. Some altcoins are going to be significant. If we want to look at significant altcoins, please leave me a comment, and I'll see if it is a significant chart to make a video over. Otherwise, join the Patreon, where we will look at these live twice a week, or just join it to support the channel. It's completely up to you. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.